Welcome to the Instructor How-To video series. This video will focus on quizzes. In the course shell that you were provided, you have a number of quizzes that have been populated there for you. If you're teaching an online class, then you can disregard any of the edits or changes that we're talking about in this video. All of the quizzes should remain the same. They should not be edited in any way. However, if you are teaching a hybrid or an on-campus class, then you will see quizzes listed here. If you're teaching a full semester class, you'll see 11 quizzes, a start here and then one for each chapter. If you're teaching in an accelerated session, such as Fall A or Fall B or a summer semester, you'll see combination quizzes, like maybe Chapter 1 and 2 combined. What you'll notice is on these quizzes, the way that they were populated when we put the shell in for you, is they're all hidden. That's what this eyeball with the mark through means. So if you are going to use the quizzes, you will need to unhide them. Let's say you don't want to use any of the chapter quizzes. You have other methods that you're going to use to assess that the students are reading their textbook. You want to delete these quizzes. So it's very simple. You just click on the check mark, and under More Actions, you choose Delete. But we really strongly recommend that you take advantage of the chapter quizzes that we have built. They're only 5 points. The Start Here chapter is actually 10 because it goes over the syllabus and some of the other basic course information. But each one of the chapter quizzes, if it is a full semester class where it's 10 independent quizzes, they're only 5 points apiece. If it's a combo quiz, it's 10 points, 5 points for each chapter. They're questions that are challenging enough that you wouldn't just be able to guess them, but not so difficult or obscure from the textbook that they would have to really hunt to find it. So we do recommend it because this is a great way to determine, did they actually get a couple of the main ideas from the chapter. In the online classes, we have them set up so that they have unlimited attempts to reach 100%. Well, if you're doing this in an on-campus or a hybrid class, you're going to want to modify how you do that. So I'm going to explain a few of those things here. First of all, if you want to unhide all of the quizzes, then if you simply click on the top button here, which will select all, if you click Bulk Edit, then it will take you to a page where you can just go right on here and unclick any of the ones that you want to work with in terms of hiding it. Now again, as I mentioned, we have in the online classes where it's set up to be unlimited attempts. Let's say you only want the student to take 1 attempt. Then you change it here. If you're going to give them 3 attempts and say, I'll give you the highest of all 3 or the average of all 3, you can do that as well. However you choose to use the quizzes is up to you. The other thing I want to mention is, as you'll see, there's a category here called Release Conditions Chapter Quiz. Well, that's the category we named it in the online class. So you will want to change that. So I'll show you how. Let's say you've made all the changes that you want here. If you've already got an alternative name or category, you could choose it from a list. For example, you see we have Chapter Quiz in there for you, which is probably the easiest thing to name it, and you would just go to each quiz and do that. But let's say you wanted to name it something else. All you would need to do to change the categories is right here under Edit Category, and you could add a name, you could alter a name, whichever you'd like to do, and that way you would be able to do name it however you'd like. So that's how you change the category name. So now, what have we done so far? We would have hidden the quizzes, we would have changed the attempt types, and we would have changed the category that they're listed. Now we want to actually go into a quiz and change some other details on it. So let's go into this quiz and hit Edit. And in the edit mode, what you'll find is there's a bunch of different options here at the top. It talks about the different quiz questions. You'll see the way we have it set up is that it pulls from a pool of questions And you'll notice that there's only 10 questions in the pool. For the Start Here quiz, we want them to answer those 10 specific questions. We really aren't playing around with that. But in the chapter quizzes, there might be a pool of 15 questions, but they're only being asked 5. So if you wanted to see what the questions were, you just go right here to Add and Edit Questions. And then you would be able to read and see each question. So you just click on the pool, and you can go in and see each question. So you would just click on each one to see what each one read. So it gives you the question, it gives you the answers, etc. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that you wanted to change a question on the Start Here. Maybe you wanted to really emphasize something about your class, maybe your attendance policy or something like that. All you would need to do is choose that question, change it, edit it any way you want right here, and then you would hit Save. So I'm just going to hit Save there. Now it would then ask you, do you want to save it to the question library or just your quiz? I would say that you would want to save it to just the quiz, not the question library, because as you go into subsequent semesters, if you have that question in your pool and you have now a different question, you don't want to keep building stuff up in that library. So you just want it for this semester, for this quiz, and then you can update that question in subsequent semesters. So you've done what you like, you're good to go here. You hit Done Editing Questions, and it comes back to the quiz. Now, a couple of things that you want to be aware of. First of all, we do have an introductory message here on the quizzes. You will want to, in the introduction, take off the things of your release conditions. So you will want to say, nope, this is just this part about the quizzes used to demonstrate your reading. And if you want to say how many attempts, then you can fix that as well. And you want to remove this other message. Again, this is the online stuff. We left that all in there because some people like to use their quizzes, some people don't. So if you choose to use the quizzes, you need to do some editing. Okay, so another thing that you want to look at is how they're going to be assessed. If you are going to use the quizzes, again, it'll show allow attempt to be automatically graded. So you do want that. You want an immediate result so they know how they did. If you do now require the quizzes as a grade, you will need to create a grade item. So Start Here quiz, quiz 1, quiz 2, quiz 3 as you go. If you're using the quizzes, you will also want to click this box, which now is ghosted out because it isn't graded, in the example here, that says allow automatic export to grades. You want them to see the automatic response, but you also want them to see it automatically in their grade book. So that's what you want to make sure is that you have both of these checked. Allow it to be set as graded and allow automatic export. You'll see your scores here, and then here is where you need to set your parameters of how you want that to work. So again, we have it set as unlimited. If you would have changed it to 1, 2, 3 attempts, whatever it might have been, it would show here. But if you didn't do it in that other location, you can do that here. So if you wanted to change it to 3 attempts, and you wanted it to be the average of all attempts, or just the highest attempt, whatever it might be, you can change it however you'd like to change it. You will also want to remove this, it's only marked as complete if it's 100% or higher, because that's what we have in the online class. So you would just say marked as complete after submitting. So that's basically how you're going to work with the quizzes. Again, you really shouldn't have to do any editing to the quizzes themselves, with the exception of that introduction message. Oh, I forgot one other thing. Let's go back under the edit here. That was the introduction message. Now let's take a look at the submission. So when they finish a quiz, this is important. You need to decide how you want them to be able to see their results. So right now it is set that they see it immediately. It shows the questions they answered correctly. It does not show the ones they got wrong, and it doesn't show the answers. If you want to change that, you're going to need to go in and edit that. Also, we have a submission message, and again, you'll want to edit that. So in the online class, we have this where it says, what's next? Did you earn 5 out of 5? Because we want them to reach that 100%. You can change this message. Just delete that out and say, okay, congratulations on finishing your quiz, whatever message you want to put here. But whatever you do, you want to change this message. The other thing that you want to do is change possibly how they see their results. You would have to click here on Default View. With the default view, you want to see here where it is your options. Do you want to see that they answered incorrectly, the ones that they answered correctly, whether it's showing all the answers? If you only have one attempt, then you would want to show the questions with the answers so they know what they got wrong. But if you're giving them multiple attempts, then you might want to just show them the ones that they got wrong, or maybe the opposite, what they got right. So that's really up to you. Again, you want to make sure that you fix that setting there. And that, again, is under the submission views on the quizzes. And what's nice is once you fix it on one quiz, what the message there and the message on your introduction, just copy and paste. So you do it on chapter 1, go through and fix all the intro messages on the remaining quizzes. Just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Same thing with the submission views. Just copy, paste. And that way, you don't have to do a lot of other editing from there. So if you do create those grade items within the quizzes themselves, then they should show up in your grade book. And you would just double check on your grades to see that those items actually did show in your managed grades. So I'll show you that real quick. So they would, if you just created all of them, they should show at the end of this list. So they would show up after the What Have I Learned. You have to make your decision then on how you want your gradebook to be set up. Do you want them to be intermingled so they're chronological within the other assignments? Do you want to create a category where it's quizzes and then assignments? If you do want to make them chronological within the other assignments, just simply create more actions and reorder, and you can change the order of where the different grade items are within your gradebook. So hopefully this has been helpful. Remember, if you need any assistance with quizzes and how they're set up and how to modify and change them, please work with our Faculty Innovation Center. Again, their website is right here, and you can get to that menu, the rainbow menu as I refer to it, to get to a direct link to set up an appointment with an instructional designer, and they'll be able to help you with anything related to the quizzes. Have a great day.